Check it out. This video is about a recent reaction video Ben Shapiro made concerning Fresh and Fit. More specifically, this video will tell you why Ben Shapiro is wrong about Fresh and Fit. See, everything Ben Shapiro is saying about Fresh and Fit and the related topics is all cap. And I'm not talking about what is on top of Ben Shapiro's head. But don't take my word for it. Let's see Ben Shapiro's video.
I say all the time, in today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man, what age should you consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys. I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that. That's easy.
Here's the Republic right there. So that is a recipe for a terrible marriage, by the way, guys. Waiting until you're 35 and have slept with 50 women, that is a terrible recipe for marriage by every available data point. It turns out that you are much better in terms of getting married if you get married younger, if you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners. All the stuff about, being in shape and having money and all the rest of you should try to do that generally speaking. But this notion that you wait until you're 35, you've already made a bevy of mistakes that have shaped your character and made you much more rigid as a person, and that you should have had a basis of comparison in terms of sex of dozens and dozens and dozens of women. No, the data do not support this, and it's stupid.
Talk about a 5 o'clock shadow that Ben Shapiro has on is looking like more like a 8 o'clock shadow. But here's the thing. I appreciate that Ben is, very analytical and data driven, but let's be honest. Ben's been out of the dating game in a while. What he's experienced when he was a lot younger is different from what people and guys are experiencing today. Come on, Ben Shapiro had the opportunity to marry early, right? Because he was part of a community that maybe had other people in the community, so they had that, not an arrangement, but the opportunity to marry early, right? It doesn't matter if you're part of Ben Shapiro's community or any other type of community that fosters that type of behavior. Not a lot of people have that chance. Plus, with dating apps nowadays, come on, the person you meet might have racked up a couple of bodies, way more than you. So that person has more of an experience from a body perspective, right? So it's only fair that if you yourself, the guy, has a couple of bodies, and you're meeting with somebody who maybe this ain't her first body, you're going to be able to, be on an even playing field, right? An even playing field. It's not about just having bodies for the sake of bodies. It's about just having, a level, platform, right? You're not on one level that's, below her or beyond her, maybe even beyond her, but at least at an even playing level. Plus, there's nothing wrong with Myron saying a guy's got to have his money up, have some experience up before he marries, right? Because let's be honest, Ben Shapiro married early simply because he could get laid. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. See, in Ben Shapiro's circumstance, and a lot of times back in the day, let's say 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was kind of frowned upon to get laid before marriage. All right. But, people are young. They want to get it on. So what's the loophole? Not the loophole, but the option. All right, if I want to get laid and I'm not supposed to get laid before marriage, but I can get laid during marriage, I'm just going to marry early, right? That makes sense. Let's say you are 22, 23, you want to get laid, and the community says it's not good for you to get laid before marriage. All right, I'm just going to get married ASAP. So once I'm married, I'm able to get laid, get the things I want, which is getting laid. And number two, satisfy the community who says, yes, getting laid is okay during marriage, so I just marry early. So, Ben Shapiro, he probably felt, I want to get laid, and, I want to respect the community by getting laid during marriage, so let me marry early. And I get Ben Shapiro's shtick, right? His gimmick. He's supposed to be this super traditional man reacting to rather non-traditional things, right? I think he really gone viral. He was reacting to WAP by Cardi B, which is it's a crazy song. So that would contrast to Ben Shapiro's reaction, who is very traditional, right? Or supposedly, right? That's his gimmick. So that's why now that Cardi B WAP is done, let's get Ben to react to other supposedly non-traditional things, like him reacting to Fresh and Fit. And of course, you're going to expect him to have a negative reaction to Fresh and Fit. But here's the thing. The environment is not traditional anymore, right? The environment that maybe Ben experienced is not really a common theme anymore, right? You see, marriage today is not considered very sacred. You see a lot of people divorcing left and right. You know, he cheated on me and now I'm divorcing. Maybe you are justified, but because you divorce, you're causing a rift in the family, right? Now the kids got to see a potentially a new stepfather, and then he or the kid can only see the father at visitation days, right? So the family is split up because of the divorce, right? Yes, you are right maybe to divorce the person because he cheated, but then at the same time, your action also produced a split in the family. So, you know, one action can produce two outcomes. And, you know, Ben Shapiro, I think he's getting it wrong because it's not necessarily that the traditional man is no longer valid. It's just that the environment has completely changed where we may have to redefine what is considered a comparable man, right? You can't just say if you're a guy, you make 5 figures or 6 figures, you're in the game. No, because the person you're meeting, right, she's making 5 figures and 6 figures. So that's considered like a negating factor. In fact, just because you make 6 figures or 5 figures, and if she makes 5 figures or 6 figures, doesn't mean that you're in the bag. It just means you are allowed to talk and be able to present your thing. But, you know, after your presentation, if she's not feeling you, it's a no-go. That's why if for me, you know, let's say I make 5 figures, I talk to chicks who work at Wendy's. And we know that Ben Shapiro really, you know, he started gaining traction when he was debating college students about debate topics, right? And he would have an inherent advantage because, you know, these college students don't know any better. And Ben Shapiro, you know, he's been experienced in the political field as well as, you know, gaining his skills in the intellectual realm. But this time, I think Ben Shapiro, you're kind of, you know, stepping out of your game, right? You're not the young Shapiro who is super sharp. You're kind of a lot older and you've kind of been out of the game a while, right? So you thought maybe you could get that similar type of motion like you had with the college students with the Fresh and Fit audience and other type of related creators. But I think you're stepping a little bit of bounds, right? Because you got to understand that there is a Venn diagram for people who like to consume type of content like Fresh and Fit and people who like to consume Ben Shapiro content, right? There's like a Venn diagram where in the middle, somebody may like watching Ben Shapiro as well as Fresh and Fit or other related content. So I think that's where Ben is getting his, you know, okay, I see this intersection in the audience. Let me try to do something to it. But you're kind of going against the grain, right? You're kind of going against, you know, your audience almost, right? At least a portion of your audience. At least, you know, kind of like Tim Pool, right? He's in the conservative space. Instead of him trying to fight Fresh and Fit, he just invited them to talk, right? If you debate it out, that's not really fighting. That's more like, you know, having a productive conversation. So I think, you know, Ben Shapiro, I get what you're standing for, but maybe you got to be able to see what your audience is into. Maybe try to see, okay, my views were relevant back then, but today, maybe it's got to be tailored and match what currently is happening. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Put a like and subscribe. Put a comment below if you got something to say about it. I'll see you all next time.